Hey guys, Dusty here. Today I'll be giving my first impressions review on a budget-friendly running shoe from a brand that you probably haven't heard of before, Xtep. And today I'm reviewing one of their running shoes, the Xtep Ultra Fast 2.0. So first of all, like I said, budget-friendly. This shoe retails for 75 US or 93 Canadian. So hands down the most inexpensive running shoe I've ever reviewed. So let's find out if it's worth the buy. So in this review, I'm going to go over the basic specs and construction of the shoe, finally how I will be using it going forward, and who I think it's best for. So we'll get started with the weight. In my men's size 8.5, it comes in at 9.1 ounces or 257 grams. And then as far as stack height goes, they weren't able to send me that information. If I had to guess, it's probably a higher drop, kind of like 8 to 10 millimeters from heel to toe. And the stack height in the forefoot's probably quite low. There isn't a lot of cushion in this forefoot, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. They did a good job on the upper, just a basic mesh, breathes just fine. It doesn't have any stretch to it though whatsoever, but it is a pretty high volume fitting shoe. So I think this shoe is going to fit a lot of different foot types. As far as the width goes, it's pretty average as well, not too narrow, not too wide. Laces are just fine. One thing I will mention though is that there is no extra eyelet in this shoe. So if you're someone who usually has to tie up your shoes using the runner's knot or the heel lock, that eyelet isn't available to you, so just something to keep in mind. The heel counter has quite a bit of stability to it, and inside the heel collar there's a decent amount of padding. Now the fit of the shoe fits a little bit long. I had them send me my usual US size 8.5, but I noticed when I got the shoe home that the Euro sizing was 43. Whereas most of my 8.5s that I have at home, the Euro sizing is 42. So just a little bit long for myself. It hasn't been causing any issues so far on the run, but if you're going to purchase this shoe, maybe just check your shoes you have at home and order based on the European sizing. If I get a pair of these shoes again, I'll probably go down half a size to a US 8, just so that the European sizing matches up. And for those of you wondering, yes, the insoles are removable. Now we move along to the midsole. They're using what they call feather foam on the top layer. And then the shoe is actually plated. There's a plastic plate running from the rear to the midfoot. This plate's just going to help add a little bit of stability, even though this definitely still is a neutral running shoe. And the midsole and ride of the shoe is definitely more on the firm side. But with that being said, it's surprisingly responsive for a shoe that's under $100. But we'll get into that in a second. For now, let's talk about the outsole. Plenty of rubber covering this outsole. Seems to grip just fine on wet surfaces. Overall durability on the shoe, I think you're going to have no problem getting 300, 400, 500 miles out of this shoe. Which when you break this shoe down, cost per mile, this shoe's going to go a very, very long way for you. Alright, now let's talk about my thoughts on the shoe and how it felt running in it. So first of all, I was highly skeptical when I first got these shoes. It's a brand I've never heard of before, and they're making budget-friendly shoes that are way under what other shoes are that I run in. And when I first tried them on around the house, they felt a little bit long, and I thought I might have some heel slipping issues as well. And I gotta say, my first few steps running in the shoe, I was shocked. First of all, this shoe for myself didn't feel like it's a 9-ounce shoe. It felt more like it was in the low 7s. It feels very, very light on your foot when you're running with it. Really comfy as well, and one thing I noticed right away was how responsive the shoe felt. I knew within a couple minutes of running in the shoe how I was going to use it going forward. So for me, probably runs kind of in between that 10 to 20k mark, kind of between that steady to tempo effort. I think that's where the shoe's kind of going to slide into my running shoe rotation. Now as far as the ride of the shoe, like I said, it's firm, it's responsive. There was plenty of room in the forefoot for myself, but I think that's just because this shoe's a little bit long for me. And even though the shoe is long and there isn't that extra eyelet, I didn't experience any heel slipping issues, which I was really happy about. The plastic plate in the bottom does keep the shoe a little bit more stable, kind of from here back, and then the forefoot is quite flexible in the shoe. Probably not a shoe that I'm going to use for easy runs. I have other shoes that I like using for easier stuff. And as far as distance, I think the shoe is going to be best kind of for that half marathon and under distance, just because there is such low stack height in the forefoot. I think for most people, the cushioning is going to be a little bit light to go those really long distances like a full marathon. So overall, I don't have any real complaints about this shoe. It it does fit a little bit long, and I'd probably go down half a size in the future. But otherwise, this brand Xtep, they built a pretty good running shoe. Nothing's bad on this shoe. Nothing's, you know, like a 10 out of 10 either. Everything's kind of right in the middle. So who do I think this shoe's best for? Basically any runner on a budget. I think this can be a good option for you. But as far as specific running, I think if you're looking for a daily trainer and you're okay with having one that's more on the firm side and you're going to keep your runs to like 20K and less, great option for you. And for that type of runner, I think you could also use this as a race day shoe for half marathon and under. We all know how stupidly priced race day shoes are becoming. And this is actually a pretty fast, responsive feeling shoe. And I think for someone on a budget, great option for race day as well. So I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but Xtep sent me this pair of shoes for free for purpose of this video. I'm not getting paid for this review, and they don't get to see this video before you do. So thank you to Xtep for sending me this pair of shoes. I believe they also gave me a 15% off discount code for all of you who want to get a pair for yourself. So I'll see if I can find that code, and I'll put it down below in the description for you. Anyways, I hope you liked my review. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.